Hello, I'm Alison Renee, and I am a mental health student. I'm studying mental health and addictions in college right now because I grew such a passion for it, especially because of my own experiences. And I was also inspired to make content on social media. So I'm additionally an influencer and content creator, and I like to speak for those who cannot speak for themselves based on my own experiences and empower them and motivate them and let them know that they're not alone. So the main core thing really in my childhood, it started when my parents were divorced at 7 years old. And with that being said, I did not really have parents that were present for me as they were dealing with their own things during the time. Like my dad physically was not absent because he moved away after the divorce. My mom, she started falling into her own addictions and wasn't really there for me emotionally. So as a result, I fell into a shell of hyper-independence, believing that I could do everything myself at a very young age. And it's really carried throughout my life. And I'm seeing how it's affecting me in adulthood. Depression is a really common thing in my family, and as well as that hyper-independence. Really didn't hit hard until my first heartbreak when I was 13 years old. And I think all of that suppressed trauma was really released after the heartbreak. And I was realizing that I can't cope with this and this is too much. And I, as a result, fell into depression. I was diagnosed with it as well as 2 other mental illnesses. And I didn't know at the time. I just thought this was life and I thought this is how it was. I didn't know anything really about mental health itself or if it was a thing. I just thought it was life. So before my depression, I was known as a really bubbly, outgoing social person. My family knew me as that person. But I started to withdraw from everyone. I didn't even want to go to school. I didn't want to go to family events, which I was so excited about all my life until then. So I just wanted to be alone. I wanted to sit in my room. I wanted to distract myself. And I didn't want to go out and engage the world. When I had the plan to improve my life and heal, I was getting towards the end of my depression. Then I was hit with a panic attack. So in order to heal my depression, I realized first the impact that it was making on my relationships and on my life as a whole. In my heart, I had big dreams. I had big goals. But my reality and my external environment was not aligning with that. It just wasn't matching. The people I was surrounding myself around was not complementing my vision whatsoever. So the first thing I did was get out of my environment because I was in a small town of people that basically with no goals in life or no focus. So I realized that this is important. Environment plays a huge role. So I ended up making plans to go live with my dad because they divorced and they moved. So I went with him and I just felt a lot better. And I started seeking counseling there, and I just tried to forget and heal from my past. The depression, I was getting fine. I was getting to a certain point where I was able to adapt in my healing journey. And I found mental health really important. Not until even more when I was hit with a panic attack in January 2022. I was sitting on my bed and it was a regular night and I was just watching a movie. And then all of a sudden my vision blurred. And then I started shaking and I was so confused on what was going on. And then I'm like, okay, maybe I'm a little whatever. I'm gonna get up and go for a walk. I got up out of my bed and I tried to just walk out of the room. And then my vision started getting worse, my heart started pounding, and I started slurring my words. So I thought something was going on. So I sat back on my bed and called 911 because I didn't know what to do. And the paramedic came and took my blood pressure immediately. And he said, I'm not a doctor, but I'm very, very confident and I believe that you experienced a panic attack. After he left, I was filled with so much anger. I was upset. I said, that's anxiety. Anxiety, that's not what people talk about. You are worse than what people say. You made me feel like I was having a stroke or something like that. And ever since that night, it changed my whole perception on mental health. And that's what really led me to make my anxiety and depression symptoms videos, because sometimes it's that. Sometimes you may think something is wrong with you deeper. You may be experiencing some physical health issue, but realistically, it's your mind, because anxiety is a bully, and I stand by that. I was also filled with so much gratitude that I survived, because people might experience similar symptoms as these, and they end up going to the hospital and they never end up getting out. So since I felt liberated, I just said, okay, I want to take this mental health stuff seriously. And that's when it became my passion, and it became all I ever cared about, all I ever watched on social media, listened to, and it's just been a journey ever since. I found a coping mechanism in making it my identity and my passion. And with that, I began to be on a journey of continuously learning about it. So now, with this extra information and with this passion driving me just to expand my knowledge every day on it, I can cope a lot better, and I can understand like the mind-body connection, regulating your nervous system, trauma responses, and this knowledge, I think knowledge is a really good coping mechanism, because we're often led by emotion. And this bridges to the next thing, to where knowledge is important, but so is reaching out for help. And sometimes being alone in your mind can make you think it's worse than it is. And when you hear yourself talk to somebody else and reach out for support, you can hear it in a different way, and you can hear different perspectives, and you can start to feel more empowered, and you can feel more supported. So, and with that, you can gain new knowledge from professionals or whoever you talk to about it. So I think those two, reaching out to a professional and the knowledge, really helped me navigate. Power of one word, honestly. And it's crazy on how I just came about this word. I was literally just on my personal Instagram trying to think of a new username, and I wanted like a word before my name. And I sorted them out. I found authentic Alison, or aesthetic Alison, that was one. And then just one came to my head, evolving. And I felt like that hit home a lot, because I have been evolving. I literally got out of depression, and I dealt with all this baggage. I think I'm evolving. I'm not stagnant. And then I took it further, and I realized I'm going to remove the G, because I'm unique. So then I just was like, I felt a wave of relief, because I said, like, this is my identity. This is something that I'm really proud of. And this one word reminds me of what I've been through. And this word, resembling all my resilience, can help me in future problems. So now it's something I carry with me all the time. And if I'm like going through something difficult, and if I'm being hit with the panic attacks, or my OCD is, flaring and bothering me, I'll just think to myself, evolving. So back in due to my childhood issues and challenges and trauma, I did develop this shell of hyper-independence, and I believed that I shouldn't be reaching out for help, and I should be doing it all myself. I should be strong and independent and reach out to no one. And I realized how that was really impacting me, impacting my relationships, and just keeping me further. So once I addressed this, I realized that it's okay to be vulnerable. It is safe to say what's going on in your mind. You are supported, and I know there's bad, crazy people out there, but there are also people that care, and there are, whether they're friends or professionals, they're here to listen. So the best advice is, it's okay if you're not okay. Sometimes we think we need to be okay, and we need to be perfect, and we need to be like robots, but then we're like robots, and where's the connection? So just let it out and start somewhere. That's That's my best advice.